So it's not a priority. Most of the time it's the big things, but in the small things they do exactly the same. They're looking for approval. They're looking for external validation in
Yeah,
anything they do.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all are definitely on some level. Hello and welcome. Cambell here from Spiral Up channel, and I have a guest with me today, Frederic, and we're going to have a chat about why people get stuck. You know, we all want more in life, but most people say they want more, but they never sort of quite get there. So you know, what's that all about? We're going to have a bit of a talk about that. So welcome, Frederic.
Thank you, Cambell. Thank you for the introduction.
Oh, thanks for being here.
People getting stuck. You've
Yeah.
done so much. You've done so much in the podcast on positive mindset, which I've seen. Talking about people getting stuck, there are many different angles to it, of course. Well, can you give an example of one of the things that you were thinking about?
Yeah, well, I just thought it was a good topic. By the way, Frederic's a life coach. That's why I've asked him on, and I met him in Visico at the Bosnian
Yeah.
Pyramid when I was traveling. Yeah, I just feel that people, you know, obviously people always want more, right? They want change. They want their life to change. They want their circumstances to change, whether it be more money, more time with their family, more travel, whatever it, be.
Mhm.
But most people don't get there. And you look online, especially, you know, obviously it's all in books, but there's so much out there on, you know, self-help and how to change your life and all, you know, there's so much information that
Mhm.
clearly, you know, if people went out there and a lot of it works, most of it works, right? So people have the way to get to change, right? That all the information's there, but very, very few people actually change. And if you
Yeah.
look at the statistics for, you know, the self-help industry, it's around 8% of people make a significant change after
Yeah.
going through, you know, a course or a book or whatever it might be, which
Mhm.
is it's pitiful, right? Like, so why do you think that is? Why do you think people are stuck and can't or won't change?
I think the main reason is that there's something like people want to change, but they don't know what they want. That's the first thing. They want to change, and they have learned and are being conditioned to have a certain view on life, and that should bring success. And while they are working on it, they are failing. They're not getting what they want. And so, at a certain point of time, there's something like my ideal situation and the situation I'm in, but it stays like a dream, it stays like a wish, it stays like something they would like to have, but they are not willing to put in the energy or are not able to put in the energy. So what I normally find is that most of the people have this wish for change, but in the end, the comfort zone is giving them more than all the trouble that they are going to have when they are trying to change. So that's my first
Yeah.
let's say
No, it's a
answer
good
to
point.
your
Like
question.
it's easier to turn on Netflix and get some chips and sit down and do nothing. The problem with that is you wake up the next day and nothing's changed and you're still, you know, in this place that you don't want to be. And so do you think that it's a case of people don't believe that they can get something better?
A belief system is already is part of it as well. But I would say it's not the first thing that I think about when people are stuck in a certain situation. They don't really see how to get out. And even though you tell them how to do it, they are still having, let's say, doubts about if it's going to work for them because they have gathered so much information over the years and done so many things in their head which didn't work out for them. So there's a mindset of, hmm, I should not have this aspiration, I should not have these ambitions because it's not going to work for me. It works for others, but not for me. And now you're stuck into a belief system of your own saying, I'm not worth it. I'm not good enough.
Mm,
I'm not capable of doing things. Um, I should stick to my own tragedy, and success and luck is for others.
mm,
And being in that comfort zone of at least knowing where they are and what they have and what they don't have is more comforting than going into the abyss and not knowing what to expect and what maybe it's going to be worse. So what I have now is better than the
if I
insecurity
fail.
and anxiety of failing and having less than what I have now.
Mm, yeah,
Vice
I
versa.
mean, well, you made the comment that most people don't know what they want, and I think that's definitely the first point. That's where people need to start because with all these books and gurus and self-help, they tell you, to make all these lists and put down what kind of house you want, what kind of car you want, how much money you want in the bank. And
Yeah.
so most people, when they write these lists, they start with money. I want $1 million. But you ask them, why do you want $1 million? And they're like, I just want $1 million. They don't know. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's not money we want. It's the
No.
things that money can get us, the experiences and things. And I think on top of everything, it's really the experiences that people are after. It's not the physical things. It's not the six pack, guard. It's not the Ferrari. It's not any of this stuff. It's people want to feel good. And I
Mm.
think if people maybe started these what do I want lists with just what do I enjoy doing? What makes me feel good? What do I want to do more of? That might be more beneficial, right? Because then you can get yourself in you can start to emotionally see yourself and feel yourself in that position. And then what that does is it makes you want that more than you want where you are now. Whereas
Mm.
if you're just saying, oh, I want a mansion and I want a Ferrari and I want $1 million, that's so out of reach. Like it's so out of most people's, vision of what they can, feel like and emotionally attached to that. Like you said, they just go, oh, well, it's easy to just stay where I am.
Yeah.
What if I do that and fail? Everyone will laugh at me. I'll lose money. Oh, because they're not attached to it emotionally, are they?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's a good point you're making. And there are two things to it. I know people that are very successful, have a lot of money, financial freedom, could do anything they like, and still they're not happy. Still they're looking for purpose. Still, some think that okay, I have 1 million now, a few millions. If I have 1 billion, I will be happy. There, there are the exceptions. Most of them find out that it's not the car, it's not the vacations, it's not all the luxury stuff or all the success, or those things are not giving them the real happiness which is sustainable. Most of the things give them, let's say, for a short period of time, some acknowledgement or some, let's say, satisfaction. But after a while, these things become empty. The material stuff, there are many experiences. You can go on a holiday 3, 6 times a year, but after a while you get tired of going on a holiday. So people are trying to fill the gaps with all kinds of experiences, but in the end, it's all about, I think, something like having a mindset of contributing to your society, contributing to others, how you can help others. Um, and once you get the hang of doing things for others, not because you want something in return, but just giving, then people start to find out that it's not in all these external things. It's about how you share who you truly are,
Mm.
and what you can share with others, how you can help others, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But they
yeah.
don't know. If you ask people, what do you want, then they come up with 99% of the time the things they don't want. So that's a strategy as well.
Yeah, and I
I can
mean,
tell you what I don't want.
that is a helpful, you can start with, writing out what you don't want, and it might, help you to get to where you do want. But I think people, they want to be acknowledged, right? They want to feel proud of what they've done. And that's what you were talking about. There's rich people around there, around the world, and they're not happy because they've made money, but the way they've made money isn't something they're proud of, right? It hasn't helped the world. They don't really have much to show. It's like, oh, well, how did you make your money? Well, I don't know, do whatever. Some stupid more. I've got a fast food shop, right? Which
Yeah.
which we don't need more of. But I think if people look at it more of maybe what's my mission, what's my cause, how do I want to change the world? Yeah, then again, you can really get attached to these kind of concepts where,
Mhm.
like buying a McDonald's franchise is, it's not the same kind of thing. You don't get emotionally attached to that and think, oh yeah, man, I'm helping, young teenagers work for $12 an hour kind of thing and giving people
Yeah.
heart disease. People want, and I think that's exactly what we need at this point in time, is we need people to do things that might, actually make change, that actually help the world. And I think the main thing, I think I'd bring it back to programming. Like, we get told success is money, cars, big houses on the beach, holidays, all this crap that
Yeah.
doesn't really give you a better life.
No. Now, they're part of a system that people need to have self-confidence or to feel successful in those things. But I think it's Tony who said something about the 6 human needs. Have you ever heard of it?
No,
6 human needs.
six
So
human.
Tony says, yeah, we all have 6 human needs, is what Tony says. And it's very simple. Like, um, we all need some kind of security. So every person in life needs some kind of security. Security meaning that I have a roof over my head, or security being something like I know that I get my income. I know that I have a house, that I have an education, etc. That's security.
Yeah.
So all the things that you can expect, you have them. Then suddenly the second human need is insecurity, variety. So if you always know how things will work out, then life gets boring. So to
Yeah.
a certain extent, there are people that need a variety, some kind of insecurity. Then there's something like we all need some kind of connection. You can call it love, but you can also call it interaction with others, connection, having a connection. Then he says something about it's important to have personal growth, so personal development. And personal development is, of course, something. Development is not going to school and get an education or doing some courses, but development in this sense is um, becoming more and more your authentic self. So getting rid of all the conditioning, getting rid of all the. Then there is contributing to others without expecting something back. So this is more
Yes.
giving. And then there's that 6. I missed one. There's variety, security, connection. Oh, it has got to do with having power. So now I'm in a place where I have authority, or you look at me and say, okay, I respect you. So you need some kind of power. Now, in everything we do, knowingly or unknowingly, these human needs are playing a role. And you can say for every person in a certain period of time, there's a, let's say, one of them is very dominant underneath, always dictating what you are doing, what you are deciding, those things. Can you follow?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah, so some people, the need to feel powerful might be the overriding, and so everything they do is based on trying to feel more
That,
powerful.
yeah.
Hmm.
So if you look at change, the people changing, they don't understand what the real reason, what the real motivation, or let's say human need is, that is directing them to make certain decisions.
Yeah.
So
Is there a way to find out what's controlling you?
yes, of course, there's a way of finding out, because if you understand the 6 human needs, the only thing you need to do is, okay, let's take a situation where people make a certain decision and ask them, okay, what is the real reason? What made you do that? What was your thinking? What was your feeling? What would you like to be? What would you like to have be the? What would you like the outcome to be? So what were you looking for? What result? What were you wishing for? So take an example, and I will break it down.
Yeah. An example. Okay, someone wants a Ferrari, and so they
Okay,
work hard so that they can buy a Ferrari.
they buy a Ferrari, and then the first thing would say, okay, if you buy a Ferrari, why a Ferrari and why not another? What is the reason that it must be a Ferrari?
Wow, Ferraris are cool, man. They're loud and
Yeah.
cool and red and fast.
Mhm. And in your perception, why not a Bugatti? Or why not a Maserati? So what does Ferrari mean to you? Why
Well,
is Ferrari more special than the others?
Ferrari is successful, but it's sporty and it's cool. So it's um yeah, I think it's more a younger kind of energy, and people see it as successful. And people know a Ferrari when they see a Ferrari, right?
Yeah, okay. So, but it doesn't work with the general answers, because the general answers are not applicable to the person giving answers.
Yeah, yeah.
So now try to envision yourself as being someone who really wants this Ferrari and not another car to be successful in a certain way.
Mm.
So if you give answers like it's young, everyone knows it, how will it attribute to you as a person when you have this
Well,
Ferrari? You're
I mean,
driving this Ferrari.
obviously, I don't, this isn't me. I don't want a Ferrari, but I think that
I understand.
people with that mindset, it would really be they want to be seen. They want to be seen as successful.
Hmm. Okay.
Mm.
So so are they aren't successful without the Ferrari?
Well, I mean, you can be successful. You can be successful and drive a Mini, right? But who would know? You gotta, be seen. You gotta put that in front of people and say, look at me, and rev the engine so everyone takes notice.
Exactly. So if I would be talking to a person in a coaching trajectory, telling me these things, then of course he's hiding something, saying, I need external respect, I need external approval, I need external, let's say, feedback about, you are successful because you drive a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
which
if I take the Ferrari away, then you're not successful in the eyes of others anymore, but you yourself don't feel successful anymore because you don't have the Ferrari.
yeah,
Huh?
yeah,
So
yeah.
what's going on in there? So you will dive deeper into that part where people are telling me, yes, this is going to be the external factor of my success. Okay,
Mm.
let's talk about your internal factor of success.
So it's like a compensation, really, isn't it? For because they feel
Absolutely.
that they're lacking something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
And you can do this on any topic. It can be a birthday party, it can be a t-shirt that they buy of a certain brand, or with a certain picture on it.
Mm.
Everything is applicable, because if somebody has this human need to have this external, let's say, approval, and to feel successful because others tell them, oh, you are, then you can work on it, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah. Well,
and
obviously, if you need external gratification, then yeah, there's something missing inside, right? And that's the ultimate reason why people go after those flashy things, is they want people on the outside to validate them, really, isn't it?
exactly, validation was the word I was looking for.
Mm.
But here's the human need at work, and now I can tell you, after a few examples, this human need, which is then dominant in this period of time, the one of the Ferrari, and it can be anything, it can be also security. Well, I know I know a lot of people who drive Ferrari, and they tell me the car is more in the garage than that they can use it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Ferraris are
uh,
small too. Have you ever seen one? They're pretty small cars, man. They're not easy to get into.
no, they are. But anyway, I would say the Ferrari will be just one of the things of the many things they are doing to get the same human need fulfilled. So it's not a Ferrari. Most of the time it's the big things, but in the small things they do exactly the same. They're looking for approval. They're looking for external validation in
Yeah.
anything they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all are, definitely on some level. And so I guess the thing is to just check yourself, right? To keep sort of checking, why am I doing this? Why do I want this? What's motivating me to go down this path? And then you'll start to sort of peel back the layers of yourself, right? And start to get to what it is you actually want, right? What your purpose is, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've mentioned it, but there's also this pyramid of Bateson. Did I did send you the how do you call it?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It was in the end. There's this pyramid saying there's a structure of people. If you look at people, there's a structure where you can tell what is your mission, what is your purpose in life. But also, it's like a pyramid build up where you can see. Would be nice if I could show it to you. Maybe it would be clearer then.
Yeah,
but let's say you have a pyramid like this, and there's a base, and the base says this is your environment. So the first layer of the pyramid is the lowest level is the environment. This is where you are. So I'm now in Czechia. I'm in a place in Bohemia, in this room where I am, and I can tell you anything about this environment. Okay, that's the simplest thing.
Yeah.
Then in this environment, I am doing certain activities. So I'm now having a podcast with you, recording this video. Now, in order to do this, there's the next level. And the level is what kind of capabilities do I have? What qualities do I have? What qualities do I need to be able to have this conversation with you? Presenting or being able to speak in a certain language or having certain knowledge, those are my capabilities. Yeah. So then the next level of the pyramid is what are your beliefs? What do you believe? The whole belief system is there. So the conditioning, but also all the things you know. And because what is a belief? A belief is an opinion you first had, and afterwards you have so much, how do you call it, evidence that you start believing this is true and the other things are not true. And after a certain period of time with a lot of experience, you're going to tell, no, I'm fully convinced it's the only thing which is true and the rest not. Yeah, belief systems. Then the next level is values. We all have values, and values are the things that drive us. It's motivation. Then there's identity, and then there's mission. And identity is not identity like the ego, but identity is more like there's a red thread throughout your whole life where you always, without people asking for it, been doing certain things in company of others. So I'm like the oyster king. I'm very good at opening up people, giving a space of trust where people open. So I'm the oyster king. That could be my identity. And then there's this thing like mission in life, and mission in life is big, but this is something we all need to find out at a certain point of time. You find out if you want it or not, some not, but most of them. And then you find out, oh, this is the reason why I was here. This is why I'm having this life. No? The mission.
So you basically start from the bottom and work your way up to try and get.
No, the nice thing about this is when you get stuck, you always need to find a solution on a higher level.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that saying? problems can't be fixed with thinking from
Yeah,
the same level or something. Yeah.
yeah, something. A problem is always bounded by the context. You
Yeah.
go outside the context, it's not a problem anymore. This is what the Chinese do very well, because they say there are no problems, and the problem is only a problem if it still exists in 5 years' time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I use helicopter method a lot, like so when you've got a problem, you just, you know, pretend you're in a helicopter and go up high and get a bigger view.
Yeah.
And it sort of detaches you away from that as well. And you can actually see and work through things. Where if people stay right in the problem and looking at it, it's they stress themselves out, right? And when you do that, you can't think properly.
Zooming out, chunking up, what they do, what they call it, and at the same time, what I also give it as an advice is not um, only zooming out, but also slowing down. If you slow things down,
Yeah, right.
they will change as well.
Yeah, right. That's a good one.
Slowing
Yeah,
down.
yeah. All right. So we need to basically check ourselves and see while we're doing things, and then the pyramid as well. Um, so if people, are through, get through there and they think they're, that they know where they want to go, like with all the people you speak to, do you like what do you find stops the motivation? Is that just because they're not actually chasing what they want, that they're chasing what they think they want, or is it, do you think other things can come into play there?
Well, I must say, I'm very strict when it comes to helping people. I always say I only help people when the questions for help are sincere to a level where I poke them. I try to find out if they are really motivated, like intrinsically motivated to change or to work on themselves. Because you must, at the end of the day, people have a full agenda. No, their lives are already full.
Yes.
So they're doing all kinds of things. And what I basically say is people make, in every moment, they make their best decision based on the knowledge and
Yep.
the awareness they have.
Yep.
So what makes them think that if they start a coaching trajectory, if they are going to plan for change, that there's time left to do this? Because they have to offer something to have the time to do something else now. Because if they keep doing the same things that they have always been doing, they
Yeah,
get the
keep
same
getting the same
results.
things. Yep. That they've always
Yeah.
got. Yeah.
So I always ask a question. So how motivated are you to change? And give me an example. And what have you done previously to change? Because what makes you think that I can help you to change? The only thing I can do is facilitate, but the one doing the work is you.
Mm.
And I can open doors. I can show you around and give you some new tools. But at the end of the day, you need to uh, stop doing what you were doing and start doing something new to get different results. No?
Mm.
So what normally is happening is that it's not only the person, but it's also the environment. So we are in a place most of the time, and I can let's say witness to this because now I'm a digital nomad and I'm changing environment many times,
Mm.
and people don't know me. Wherever I go, people don't know me. So what I can do when I move from a certain place to another and I find new people, I can present Frederic in my own way, no? Because they don't know Frederic. If I introduce myself as a very cool person, or a very quiet person, or a very expressive person, that's how they get to know Frederic. Now we got to know each other in Visoko. We
Yep.
met a few times. We had some conversations together, and now you have a perception of me.
Yeah.
Now I move every 3 months, and when I move, I can, let's say, open up thinks of me to this new public, and this is how they get to know me. This is how they interact with me. Yeah?
Yeah.
Most people are stuck in a certain situation, a family reconciliation, friends, colleagues at work. They keep you in check. The moment you start doing different things, they will tell you, Cambell, what did you do?
Yeah.
Why are you acting so strange? Come on, man. Be the old Cambell I know.
Yep.
And at the same time, they don't know you, Cambell. They have a perception of you.
Yeah.
And they want you to stay in that box.
Yes, because it makes them feel comfortable too, right? Because then they have an excuse at why they don't have to go and chase their dreams.
So
yeah. I mean, you come.
you're not only fighting yourself in terms of change,
Mm,
in terms of insecurities, in terms of looking at the abyss or fighting your own shadow. No,
yeah.
you're
Yeah. I
also
mean,
fighting your environment.
I can definitely attest to changing your environment or, you know, getting out of sync with your life if you want to, just doing something spontaneous, sporadic, whatever it might be. I moved from Perth out to where I am now, right? Out to a farm in the middle of nowhere. Then I went to America, like just on a complete whim, didn't have anything organized. Did a month there. And then obviously this year, I went to America again and then to Europe where I met you, traveled through 9 countries, didn't, and I just sort of, I don't like to plan things. I just like to put myself out there and see what happens. And yeah, it changes. Like it's a lot easier to, like you said, a lot easier to change when you're in a different environment than it is to change when you're in the same environment that you're used to. Because I think even your body gets used to it. So your physicalness sees the same environment, has the same food, gets around the same people, and it goes into the same mode that it's always been in, which makes change hard.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that at least is what I've been seeing over the past 20 years. This, and this is also why most of the relationships, after a while, they get stuck because there's no room for, let's say, um, discovering or experiencing those other parts of me that are not allowed by my partner or by my family or by my the society that I'm in. There are certain rules and regulations in those environments where you can only, let's say, discover those elements of you that fit in the narrative.
Mm.
And that's why I think most people that really change are um, not not per se going out of their environment, but they find a way to present themselves in new ways or to experience themselves in new ways.
Mm.
And if this is applicable, then change will happen rapidly.
Yeah. Well, not everyone can just get up and move house, and so you don't, need to change it, but you need to change something, right?
Yeah.
Um, I've got a friend, Howdy McCoskey, and he talks. he used to do, well, he still does, just does experiments, right, just all the time. And he said once he was walking, to dinner with a group of friends, and as they were walking, he just jumped, just spontaneously, just jumped up in the air, and then didn't say anything and kept on walking. And
Mhm.
all the people like around like, that he was walking with just couldn't comprehend it. Like it really threw them out. And they were like, what did you, and he was like, what? No, what do you mean? What did I do? Oh, just John, and they were having a really hard, so even just doing things that are different and spontaneous, I think gets us and others as well, out of that state, out of that, zombie mind, if you want to put it that way, where people are just going around in circles, doing what they've always done in the routine. So I
Mhm.
think spontaneity, like being spontaneous, is a big part of it as well. And I think in the end, that's why a lot of, relationships break up because they lose that. And like you said, if you lose that, then you can't really be your full self. And that's
Mhm.
what we want to be. And if you're not allowed
Absolutely.
to be that, it gets to a point where you're like, well, I'm going to make a change and it's I'm leaving you. And then off you go, right?
Yeah, and that's also nice about the pyramid. It's not the environment which is doing this, because the environment was the lowest level. So
Yeah.
people have the tendency to think, if I go to a certain place, if I go to I don't know, a nicer place or a place with cool people, then it will help me. But the environment is not. You're bringing yourself with you into the new environment. So if you
Mm,
don't understand that the environment is not the thing, you are the one interacting with this environment, then you still get stuck. It's only for a little while that it helps changing
mm.
environments.
And I
Yeah.
suppose it works backwards as well. If you change, you know, the top, I can't remember what the top was, but your mission
Mission.
and work backwards, then your environment changes, right? So it sort of goes both ways.
Absolutely. 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 Yeah.
Mm.
Well, changing your mission is probably not something you can do, because the mission is already fixed, whether you know it or not. You you can discover your mission, but you cannot change your mission. Otherwise, it would be a theoretical mission. But the mission in life, which we call the pyramid, is fixed. There are people dying without never having known their own mission.
Yes. Yes. And we don't want to end up there, do we? So I mean, I guess that's really the crux of it all is you need to, I mean, be real with yourself, right? Be true to yourself, which a lot of people aren't. Dig down, see what your motivations are, why you're doing things, and through there you'll get to what your passions are and ultimately what your mission is. And I guess once you found that, then you're kind of on fire, as they say, right? Like you're just going for it, and nothing will stop you because if you understand it's your mission, then you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's not like some silly goal that's been put in your mind, some physical thing to do with the system. It's actually a mission. So for
I think if people find out their mission, if people find out what at the bottom of everything are their values, what kind of identity is also playing a role in their lives, you will get, let's say, this happiness, which is not bounded to having things or knowing things or experiencing things, but you're always in sync with who you in the essence are. And this is I think, the most satisfying part of life, if you, at least on a conscious level, know what your mission is, and at the same time living it and just being
yeah,
authentic in yourself. Yeah.
well, yeah, and that's what we all want, right? We all want to be, the good person, the superhero, remembered for something good, right? We all want to make positive change and all this kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people just think it's too hard, but when you look around, people are doing this, have done this, and really, in the end, isn't it about it's about your experience, right? Having a good life, being happy, being, enthusiastic and motivated, and having real experience, I think is what people want. But
Mm.
I mean, I think programming comes into it a lot. So it's also about peeling back the layers. I say a lot, the statue's not finished when there's nothing more to add. The statue's finished when there's nothing more to take away. Right.
Take
So,
away.
so,
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
we've got to peel back all these layers of programming and people who told us what success is, and you must do this, and a lot of people's parents tell them you must be this, you must be a doctor or a lawyer to be successful, you must whatever, but none of that's relevant to anyone's life, right? That's their life. They need to make their decisions, find out who they are, why they're here, and go in their own direction.
Mhm.
I think that will get people motivated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think that um, we all need mentors, or we all need coaches. There's always, if you have somebody on the outside who takes the time to look at you and to give you real feedback in terms of what they see, what they experience, where the things are not, let's say, congruent with the behavior is not congruent with what they say or what they wish for, then I would say we all would learn more if we have this mirror outside who tells us these things. I'm very lucky with the relationship I have with Sandra because she keeps holding that mirror in my face in terms of, that's nice. You just said this and now you're doing that. And uh, even as a personal coach, there's so much to discover in terms of becoming more aware, becoming more conscious of
Yeah,
programs, as you say it, or limiting beliefs,
yeah.
those things.
I,
Yeah,
I totally agree. Like other people can give, well, they can give us a different perspective, but they see a lot more our behaviors and I would say motivations as well, you know. So, you know, that's the thing. Obviously Frederic's a life coach. And so if there's anyone out there that feels they need a bit of direction, you know, someone to sort of help them along their way, if you're having sort of problems with your life, with whatever motivation, with getting to where you want to go, then I'll leave all the details so you can contact Frederic and have a chat with him and see if he's a match for you, you know, and then hopefully you can start working together because, you know, I've used coaches before, life coaches, and it really is it's very helpful. Like it's amazing, right? When people just sit, like you said with Sandra and you, they sit there go, oh, really? What about this and this? You're saying this, and it's like, oh crap. I can't hide from myself anymore. And that's one of the big things. You've got to be realistic. You've got to be true to yourself, right? Like a lot of people
absolutely.
try and hide away and sort of behind their persona, you know, and their stories and things, but it doesn't help.
Hmm?
Like I said before, you know, you can do that, but you're going to wake up tomorrow in the same position and next year in the same position and feeling the same way. So, you know, why not get out there and make a change now? And then, you know, then your life becomes an adventure. It becomes something much, much
Absolutely.
different.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we all can help each other, opening new doors, opening new realms of experiencing, because we all are teachers and students at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, totally agree. You can learn something from everyone and you can teach something from to everyone.
if you
Awesome,
understand the
man. Well, that
idea.
was really cool.
Yeah,
All right. Well, like I said, I'll leave all your details below, so people
wonderful.
can contact you, and yeah, maybe we'll get you back in a later date, and we'll tackle a different issue. So, leave us comments below, guys. If there's anything, you know, any topics you want myself and Frederic to cover, just leave it in the comments, and I'll leave all his links below. And yeah, thanks for joining us, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. And thank you, Frederic.
Thank you, Cambell.
Thanks
Okay.
a lot, mate. See ya.
See
Okay,
ya.
let me stop this.